I I am back here again. Did you expect that? No, you didn't probably. I just remember that there's a situation that I wanted to talk to you about as well. Um, but I forgot about it because I was mad over some other shit. But well, this is not that I am mad about this, but I really wanted to speak about this previously, but I didn't. So yeah, that's the whole thing. But yeah, how are you? How are you doing? Great? Good. That's amazing. You're not? Oh, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Don't pay attention to that. Yesterday at night I ate and I ate sloppily. Yeah, I always do that. But anyway, I wanted to talk about something that happened recently, and I actually have talked about it. If you remember a video of mine, if you don't, if you're like even just you're out of nowhere here. Hello, by the way. You've never seen me before? Probably yeah, because I'm not like yeah. Hello. Uh So, I will explain this in one of my videos that are titled I should turn my room mode on or some shit like that. I have spoken about. I will not completely get into what I said there because it would be just repeating the whole fucking story. But in the shortest way, and the only important part for this video is that I have driven with a taxi driver after I was off work. And I was drunk because we were drinking at work because one of the workers were leaving and he was a very great worker and just like yeah and very positive energy, very friendly and whatever. He was leaving and we decided to drink at work and yeah no it's just like don't tell anybody. But yeah, we drank. I didn't drink like too much because I also had to close. So but still I was pretty drunk and I also was pretty tired. Wait, someone is texting me. Okay, that doesn't matter right now. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, and the taxi driver that I drove with him a few times already in the past, and we have spoken in a very friendly way, and he asked me around just like things that are normal to ask an 18-year-old, you know, how are my classes are going, and just I spoke a lot about how I am doing with like studies and I'm not doing great, and you know, he said a lot of like smart things about like not being like worried about it and that people will always be unhappy. He said a few things that like people will always be unhappy no matter what they achieve, you know? It's just like a human thing. You wish for something, you get it, and then you wish another thing, you know? It's just like, yeah. Only if you like work hard for it, it does satisfy you more, you know? But yeah, anyway, that's not the point right now. I have stayed in his car near my home for 9 hours. And I know that sounds like fucking strange, especially if you didn't hear as like the story before. And in the video that I spoke about it, I didn't really say that it was like a strange thing. And I also mentioned that we did speak about sex as well because he was asking a few questions about sex. But at the time when I filmed the video, I didn't really care because, as I said, I of course didn't sleep. It was he drove me back around like we were near my home around like 2 a.m. and we stayed in the car till like 11 a.m. Until he had to leave for some kind of business at 12 p.m. And I imagine if he didn't have the business at 12 p.m., I don't know, maybe I would be there till this fucking day. I'm joking, of course, that wouldn't happen. But still, like right now, when I'm speaking about it, I completely understand of how fucking weird it is, and I'm actually very afraid. Because there were, at the time that I filmed the video, I was just glad to be out of the car and that I was at home and I could just lay down in bed, sleep, or do anything. Literally, it's just my free day off. Fuck you, you know? But yeah, and but right now when I think about it, it was very strange, and especially that there were a few things that I didn't mention just because I just wanted to make the situation sound not as crazy, because I knew I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want anyone to judge me. But now I don't care for the judgment because I understand that it was all fucking weird. He asked me I can tell you of like example what kind of questions he asked me exactly. And those questions were what kind of poses I like. At that question I literally just responded that I'm not, this was like one of his last questions about like intimate things, and he said like what kind of poses you like, and I was so fucking uncomfortable at that point, and I just said like I'm not really the type of person that is like into those kind of things that much, and that could be obvious because I'm 18, you know. Yeah, and then he said like just name one, and I said like the dog pose because that was one of the few that I just know. And then he just said like, "Oh no, the what is your favorite pose for posing for a picture?" And then he said, "Will you use that joke?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And yeah, it just was fucking weird. Other questions before that: how to please a woman. The other one, what kind of a what kind of a race, with what kind of a race of a man I would be with. That was hard to fucking put there. Yeah, and there were probably a few other questions that I just don't remember as clearly, but yeah. Now is your question. Why didn't you just get out of the car? You know the door, like you take the handle and you push it towards yourself. Those are the kind of handles that there were there. And I actually, yeah, I did tell him a lot of times that I was tired and like, can you check the time? And it was just like, I wanted him to check the time so he could finally think like, okay, this is like, you should go home, you know. If you've been after work and you've been sitting in my car for such a long time, you should leave. And even as I said, like a lot of times I just feel tired, and there were a lot of times that I couldn't even like respond normally because I was just so fucking tired, and also like, well, not drunk anymore, but I was still, you know, it's just like the tiredness of it. And I told him a lot of times that I am so tired that I cannot even like respond to you anymore. And he didn't fucking care. He spoke to me still. And then I thought like, hey, no one is stopping me from just opening the car and leaving, because we were right at my home door. So I was just like waiting, and then I still felt afraid of the man because he told me a lot of other stories about him, like I will put it in the shortest way: drug use, fights, and just making fun of people that you should not make fun of. And yeah, and I thought like if I just push his buttons, maybe he will not be as friendly. Yeah, and I just said that, or I didn't say shit. Okay, my bad. I tried to open the door in like a little silently because I just wanted to check if it would even open, because I was afraid still that like I had these kind of situations before, not like complete exact situations, but like similar with men, and I just know that if you will show that you're uninterested, and especially if you're afraid, then they just, out of that, they do the complete opposite of, like, just backing off. They try even more, and they might be even like harmful, to you. And I tried to open the door silently, and it wasn't opened. It was fucking locked. Or I didn't push it enough. I don't know. But my plan, that was my plan. Like, I opened the door a little bit, and then he realizes, and then I say, like, okay, maybe this is like, I can go. But it wasn't opening. Then at like 11 a.m., I heard the fucking locks click. They opened. Like, why would you keep me there? And he didn't do shit to me exactly. But after that, there were situations that, like after work, there's one coworker that knows how to check the name of the driver as your drive has been accepted. And I was, like a few days went by, I think two, maybe I had 2 days off, I think. And then I went into work again, and I was closing with the same coworker that like knew how to check, and she checked, and it was the same fucking name. It was enough to just say my address, and he would accept it. But of course, it was just the second time, and of course, maybe he was just like, oh, we will talk again, la 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 la. But I was very fucking afraid. So I said, like, can you cancel it? And but she was with me, and she like lives nearby, so it was fine. We made up a story so that I will be staying at her place, and I was just like asking, like in the car, I was asking like questions like, do you have anything I will like, do you have any spare clothes? I didn't bring any. And we then joked around like, oh, we will just like walk around in our work uniforms, have like a party for our workplace or whatever, those kind of things. And yeah, and then we got out, and then the co-worker, she leaded me home, which is very nice of her. I'm very thankful for it. Actually, my co-workers are like the best people. I have spoken about this situation to them because at first I just wanted to know who else knows how to check the name, because I just don't remember the numbers, and that's stupid of me. Like, I should have checked, but I didn't. So yeah. And there were a lot of times that I said, like, I am prepared to walk home after work just to not be with that driver in the same car with him. And there, like, some said like report it, but some say don't report it. He knows where you live, especially if he's like a little ill-minded. And yeah, and one of the coworkers, he's such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. Well, most of them, yeah, most of my coworkers had the same reaction, actually all of them, which is like, what the fuck. Which is just, weird and insane, and yeah. And one of the coworkers, I will not say his name, I will not say anything. How to describe him? He's blonde, curly hair. Okay, yeah, but a very sweet boy, and I have talked to him about it as well. Well, he overheard the situation and then asked like, what like, explain it more, and I told him, and I remember like before yesterday we were closing together. The kitchen worker had left, and yeah, I just needed to close the door and just call the taxis, and we would be good. And I told him that like I told him that he can already like call the taxi, and I have mentioned before in the shift that I am prepared to walk home. That's it, because I didn't know how to check the name. And yeah, and I just like, I would rather go just, on foot. And yeah, and I told him you can call the taxi. He said like, did you call the taxi already? Because he probably didn't think I was serious, because I have mentioned that uh, on foot I would have to walk from my job place to my home for like 2 hours minimum. And that's like calculating in my brain, so I don't know if that's actually correct. Maybe it would take even longer, or maybe a bit of a shorter time, but I don't think so. And he said like, don't joke around. Like when I said that I would just walk home, as I said, like, don't joke around. I will call. Let's call the taxi. And he called it, and both of the cars. He said like, I think someone mentioned he like drives a black Prius, and two black Priuses accepted his and my addresses. And I thought like, holy shit, either he's picking him up or me. And then I said like, I'm not prepared to do this. And we could drive together with that worker, but he lives in the complete opposite way from me, and it's not his situation. So I wasn't about to make him drive with me. So yeah. And then he said like, if what I am here, you will see if you can recognize the face, then we will cancel that exact car, and then the other will drive by. Or he even said like, what, like, if you get into the car and then you only realize that it's him, you can like, he said like, I can somehow maybe contact him, and then he would call me an Uber, which is just so sweet to hear. I was blown-minded that he cared so much, and he's a new worker, so we haven't worked for a long time together. But yeah. And then the cars came by, and thank God none of the cars were that dude. So I got in and drove home. Yesterday, that worker wasn't working with me, but he came by at work, and I smiled at him, thought like, hey, there are a lot of workers that come by. Well, I work at a fast food restaurant, so a lot of workers on their free days, they sometimes come by to order something and just talk and I'm just saying, we're all so friendly that we just come by on our free days and just to eat or not to eat, and maybe just even go out for a smoke. And he came by and he asked my other coworker for a small bag. She gave him the small bag. He went out of the restaurant, and I thought like, okay, goodbye. Then he came back. The bag was like scrunched up, and it looked like there was nothing even in it, and he held it out to me with a smile, and I took it, and I thought like, maybe it's not even for me, because he didn't ask me for the small bag. And I just asked him like, what is this? And he said like, don't open it yet. And I was like, okay. I came by to the other coworker that gave him the bag and thought like, hey, maybe it's not even for me. And I like gave it to her, and I said like, what is this? And she took it, she looked inside, then immediately closed it up, gave it to me, and said, this is for you. And I thought immediately, like, what the fuck could this be? And I opened, and while I was feeling the bag, it was just like something small, like hard, long. But I opened it, and it was this. He bought me a pepper spray. Because I did have and it's the truth. I cannot really protect myself in these kind of situations. I don't even know how to punch someone. That's the point. I have no idea how to defend myself, and that's like wrong in me. I could learn to do that. There are a lot of trainings for especially for women going on, but I have never taken them, which is my problem a little bit. But he bought me this. I don't know how much this has cost. I have tried it a little bit. It works, and yeah, I just sprayed a little bit outside after work yesterday, and yeah, it's just yeah. And I texted him today saying that like I wanted to personally thank him for this kind of a gift, and yeah, and he texted me back like no problem, uh that it's like he's happy if I'm safer and he will not worry for it, as much. Which is like, it's just so sweet. And that's what I love about people sometimes. It's just that, like, people help each other out, And, yeah, it's really, that's the only fucking thing that I wanted to say. Once again, 20 minutes. I am sorry. All of my videos are coming out for like 20 minutes right now. So, yeah. But yeah, this is the story, and there were a lot of other few times that there was a time that I called a taxi after work, but I wasn't closing. I left like an hour before. And I called the taxi, and then the same coworker was there. She was closing in, so she wasn't driving with me. And I asked her to check to check the name, and it was the same fucking name. And I was like, holy fucking shit! This is the third or fourth time he's trying to accept my address. And yeah, and then we canceled it, and then another car drove by. But I'm saying it's just that like I would be fine if it was like, well, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference, but I would be at least not as worried if it wasn't at night when there's nobody fucking around and I'm alone in a car with a 28-year-old man, by the way. 10-year difference. Yeah. But now I am just, yeah. I really felt stupid in this situation, and like actually most of the situations I get with men, like in those uncomfortable situations, there is a spot that blames myself because I am always way too nice with people. And I've mentioned that in my previous video before. I can be way too nice. Like in real life. If in here I can just speak anything because I can. But if that same person was near me, I cannot manage to talk in that way to that person right there and then. That's just me. Is that shitty? Probably, yeah. Uh, but I am glad that it's just like, I think, well, of course, not for the first time that people have told me, like, this is not like your fault, And but like right now I'm just feeling very glad that there are so many people that I have talked. This was, well, actually only my coworkers, but there are a lot of my coworkers, and they all are just like, I don't know, none of them like said like, hey, why didn't you do that? Well, there were questions like, why didn't you just leave, or some shit like that, and I explained it to them, and there wasn't nothing else to ask. So yeah, girls, don't be nice, and don't be not nice. Don't be mad, because it's the strangest fucking thing. If you're nice, then it means that you agree to whatever they want. If you're not nice, then you're just playing hard to get. What fucking logic is that? If there are men that still think that way, stop. Stop. If a woman is saying no, that means no. If she's being nice, that means it's just her being nice, That's it. If someone comes up to you, gives you a compliment, and then you are so delusional that you think that that girl that came up to you and gave you a compliment immediately wants you, and this is like a hint that you should get her number. No, she just came up to you because she thought you looked nice, gave you a compliment. That doesn't mean instantly that she's like, holy shit, I want to ask this guy out. Stop thinking like that, please. It's not, it's like, don't think of women as like women. Don't think of the part that we peel from. Please, don't. Okay, I think this is enough. 25 minutes. You are welcome. And yeah, I will see. I'm saying this at each fucking time. We'll see you soon, probably. I don't know when I will post again, but like, you never know. These videos come up. I don't think of like, hey, I will post again and again and again. I don't think like that, you know. So yeah, thank you if you, oh Jesus, thank you if you watched the whole video. Thank you for that worker for this nice little gift. I have really appreciated. Yeah, this is the story that I wanted to tell, and I couldn't even manage because I couldn't form it the right way. So yeah, but now I'm not as afraid, and I am glad that a lot of people that I've talked to are supportive, and they are making me less afraid of this situation. And I will see you pretty soon, someday. Ciao, bitches. See ya. Bye bye.